Chicago's got the first overall pick in the draft, assumed to be Caleb Williams. The question is, would they be better off sticking with Justin Fields? We can get into the discussion of, is Justin Fields a franchise quarterback? Would he be better than Caleb Williams? We can have that discussion. That's fine. But one of the big things for me that the reason I think the clear decision is to trade Justin Fields and draft Caleb Williams is simply from a financial perspective and just when you break it down logically in the long run. So if you kept Justin Fields, even if he, say best case scenario, broke out and had a fantastic year, okay, that would be awesome. But you would have to pay him after this season. So after this season, you would have to give Justin Fields at least somewhere around $30 million a year. The Bears have a lot of cap space, but that is a lot of money that could go towards other resources. That's why I think, unless you are certain that Justin Fields is a no doubt top 10, top 5 player, then the logical move is to draft Caleb Williams simply based on financial. Now, we can get into the players as well. I think it's a smart move there, but to go trade Justin Fields, you're going to get something in return for him. You're going to get a rookie and the number 1 pick on a rookie deal. You're going to have 4 years of paying him nothing. Then you can go and add more talent around him. I think when you factor all that in, even if you really, really liked Justin Fields, to me, the logical thing to do as an organization is to get the rookie contract because it is going to bolster your team up in the long run. Do you see the logic in that? Do you agree with it?
I absolutely agree with it. As a financial advisor myself, I think it is the smartest move for the Bears organization. This is kind of a pointless exercise in general because we kind of know what's going to happen. We already know. It's really, what is Ryan Poles, which directions is he going to go with the trade? Where is that first pick going to go? That's my big question. It's not a question anymore of, are they keeping Justin Fields or are they getting Caleb Williams? It's where are they going to go? Are they going to go for Caleb Williams or are they going to trade down? What are they going to do there? Justin Fields staying at the Bears, it's not going to happen. Okay, it's over. It's done. Fields is going to be shipped off. Where he goes, I don't know. Don't really care too much, but I think that Justin Fields has that potential. He is, and I'm bringing into the player conversation now. I think Justin Fields has something there. He just needs to be in an offensive organization. He needs to be somewhere where he has an offensive head coach, an offensive minded coach that can kind of guide him and clean up a little bit of the rough edges that he has. Mainly, throwing the ball and such. Yeah. Things that a quarterback needs to be good at. But that aside, do you think they go for Caleb Williams? Do you think they try to trade down and get a little bit out of that pick and go with somebody else? Or where do you think he's going with this pick?
It's interesting you bring that up. I heard someone else bring that up like 4 or 5 days ago, and it hadn't even crossed my mind that was an option. To hey, they could do both. They could trade Justin Fields and then trade the number 1 pick to Washington or New England, go down to 3, take a quarterback, and then you're going to get even more of a buttload of picks.
Right.
I do think, just from what I've seen of the quarterbacks, I actually really like Drake May. I like him a lot. I would totally draft Drake May and feel happy about it. I think he is pro-ready. I really do. But Caleb Williams has such an unbelievable skill set. I don't think he's a can't miss, generational prospect like Andrew Luck or Peyton Manning. I don't think he's that. I think he could miss, obviously, but his skill set is the most similar we've seen to Patrick Mahomes. That's why Mahomes is his comp. It's not saying he will be him. It's saying he has the talent and the abilities to reach that kind of ceiling, okay? And that's all you're looking for when you draft a quarterback. So I don't think they will do that. I would be really shocked if they do. The only way you make that move is if you feel just as strong. If you are sitting there and you say, man, we genuinely love Drake May just as much or more than we love Caleb Williams, or we love Jaden Daniels more than we love both of them. If you honestly feel that way, then man, push your chips into the table and do it. But I find that hard to believe that they would feel that way because, in my opinion, Caleb Williams is in his own it's Caleb Williams, and then we get into Drake May, and we can talk about the other guys. He is on an island by himself in my eyes.
Right, and I know we'll get more into the draft conversation next week, but the only team that kind of spurs my interest in a trade would be New England at number 3 because they're also vying for a quarterback in this draft. So if you could manage to get them to trade, you take May because the third pick is where May's probably going to go. That's what all the mock drafts have him at right now.
I think he'll go 2.
Switch Daniels and May however you like, right? I like both of the guys, but for that style of offense at Chicago, Drake may be a better fit. Jaden Daniels may be a better fit. But all I'm saying is, what could you milk out of that first-round pick if you could sacrifice a quarterback that's not to the level of Caleb Williams right away? I think Drake May and Jaden Daniels are really close seconds.
But they don't have the talent that Caleb Williams does. So
that's right.
Even if they hit, they don't have his ceiling.
Well, and after all this time that Chicago's been, just they've had a lot of bad draft picks. And do they really want to trade down to risk the fans, the admin, the office, like getting mad at them?
That's it.
And picking a lesser tier guy to get more. So like, being greedy is really what it would be.
And think about how disastrous it would be if you passed on Caleb Williams and then he turned into the superstar that a lot of people expect.
But if you take Caleb Williams and it doesn't happen, then you actually have your answer now of, is it the players or is it everything else at Chicago? Who knows?
Yeah, but I think it's a little of both in every circumstance, right? Because no doubt where you're drafted, particularly with quarterbacks, can really determine how good of a player you turn out to be. No doubt, the support you have around you. But Justin Fields, it's not like he has been terrific. And I know we can talk about the staff and all the changes in Chicago. Okay, but we're not talking about 1 year. We're talking about 3. So these are his stats. Through 3 years as a starter, 1,800 passing yards, then 22, 25. Each year, the touchdowns have been similar after the first year, 25-20, the picks 11-9. Obviously, in 2022, he had the big rushing year, over 1,000 yards. But in his career, 3 seasons, 6,500 yards, 54 touchdowns, 30 picks, and then 2,200 rushing yards. The numbers themselves don't scream, franchise star. They don't. Yeah. I understand he has a really special running ability. That's great. But Ryan, I'm just telling you from me watching it, it's not even the stats. It's just he doesn't have the passing ability that I need in my top 10 franchise quarterback. And if I'm not getting a top 10 guy, then I've got to look elsewhere because we can't compete in the league without it. He misses a lot of layups and he doesn't really see the field well. Maybe that's not all on him, but when you've played 3 years as an NFL quarterback, I should start to see some glimpses of that. And I don't.
3 years and you've been stagnant after Chicago gave up a really heavy-handed bag of cash to get you. Because remember, they traded up. Fields was selected 11th overall, right? And so they traded up with the Giants in exchange for the 20th overall pick, their 5th round pick in 21, and their 1st and 4th round picks in 2022. So they gave up a lot to get Fields. They can't have another blunder on their draft resume. Get Caleb Williams if he doesn't pan out, because sometimes we've seen this happen many times. The first round quarterback doesn't pan out. The first overall pick quarterback doesn't pan out. But look, if you take him and he doesn't, it's not on you anymore. You say, hey, look, we took the most obvious option here. It didn't work out. Let's move on. Let's do something else.
Right.
But I don't care who you put in this position. You're going to have to help with the line, and you're going to have to help with receivers. You got to get those two things along with your star quarterback. And, what can they get for Justin Fields when they ship him out? Who knows? You think they go draft pick here, though?
I would want as many draft picks as I could get because they've got the 9th pick in this draft as well. So they're picking number 1 and then they're picking number 9. So they'll be able to trade Justin Fields. Say you get a second or whatever. I don't know what the compensation would be. So they can draft Caleb Williams. And then at 9, they can get a really good receiver. You're probably not going to get Malik Neighbors. I doubt you'll get Rome Odunze, but you might be able to get Brian Johnson from LSU. You could get a really solid receiver to add. You could get, a lineman. There's a lot of good tackles in the draft. So yeah, they're picking 9 in this draft as well. So they got 1 and 9. They could get Caleb Williams and a really impact player right off the bat. Those are 2 solid picks. So I think that's the way you go. And what you just said, you can't miss on a quarterback. This GM, Ryan Poles, he didn't draft Justin Fields. So he can't not take a quarterback. He hasn't drafted a quarterback yet. If he's going to get fired and lose his run in Chicago, it has to be from sticking to his guy. Also, I know you're not supposed to think this way, but drafting a rookie quarterback is also going to just inherently give him a little more runway. Whereas if this season's bad with Justin Fields, if you stick with Justin Fields and he sucks this year, you're fired. If you get Caleb Williams
Right.
and he sucks, they're going to be like, well, let's see him in year 2. So that just seems to be the logical move.
Well, you said that Chicago had a second-round pick, too. They do not.
No, if they got one for Justin Fields. I'm saying if they got a second for him.
Yep. Yeah, because right now Washington has their number 2 pick.
Right.
So, this mock here has number 9. It says that Chicago would take Dallas Turner, the edge from Alabama.
Okay. I don't know if I'd love that pick for them, but okay. Possible.
Yeah, this is according to the CBS mock draft. So you're right, though. If they could trade and get, a second round pick and get somebody like, even somebody like Adonai Mitchell from Texas, some second round receiver talent to help with that star stud quarterback that they're going to get, it may work out. But as it stands right now, the whole debate is just, there's no debating really if Justin Fields is going to stay or go. He's gone.
Right.
It's just, where are they going with this pick? What are they thinking? And what can they get for Fields in turn for, maybe more draft picks? Or I don't think they trade straight up for another player. Like you said, they want cheap talent. So
okay, so then let me ask you this, and I just pulled up Daniel Jeremiah's recent mock draft, and again, it's just mock drafts, it's fun, but you have no clue. He's got him obviously taking Williams, and then at 9 he does have him taking Rome Odunze, the receiver from Washington. So if Odunze's on the board, I think you got to take him. Malik Neighbors will be gone, I would imagine by then. Marvin Harrison Jr. obviously is going to be gone. So if they could get Odunze or even the other LSU receiver, I would go receiver, pair him up, and just give Caleb Williams weapons. We saw what Caleb Williams did at USC. He did struggle with a bad offensive line last year, but I want to give my young rookie quarterback the best chance to succeed.